especially hit by the bedroom tax. What is your party's policy on benefits for disabled people? I know that the questioner asking this question was particularly concerned about the fact that some disabled people find they need an extra room and that they're being required to give that room up. So I'm going to ask Charles Lawley, would you like to respond to this one first?
Yeah, so as a father of a child with special needs, this is an area of great importance to me. This is what the Lib Dems would do. We would scrap the bedroom tax. It's something I would not support the policy. We'd scrap the work capability assessment.
Yeah, which Labour have already said. There's a copy of Labour, aren't they, there?
We'd end the freeze on benefits that both these parties are committed to maintaining. We would reverse the 9.7 billion of benefit cuts, more than double of that which Labour are about to reverse. We would reverse cuts to universal credits. We'd increase the carers allowance from £110 to £150 a week. We'd return...
no, that's the amount that you can earn.
Like the NHS,
not the amount you get.
The welfare state was the Liberals' idea. That is why we are the only party with a credible and costed plan to support it. The NHS was William Beveridge's idea. William Beveridge, not the politician.
I thought Labour invented the NHS.
The history for now.
It was Labour, wasn't it?
I'm sure many people are involved.
Clement Attlee.
Andrew Bingham, would you like to hear the next ones?
The spending on disability benefits will be higher every year, up to 2020 than it ever was in 2010. On the issue of the spare room subsidy,
Andrew Bingham quoted a statistic which is either a right one or a wrong one. I'm not in a position to know whether it's correct or not, but I'm assuming that is a government statistic.
£30 a week for sick and disabled people when he claims £42,000 a year expenses and his salary.
Right, I thought we weren't having supplement. Can I just say that if I think you were one of the people who refused to have extra questions being asked of the people on the platform. I think that you said that was when they don't stick the one on the screen, and that's what I'm asking you to do. Have you finished with your reply?
No, not really.
Would you like to continue?
I do want to talk about the spare room subsidy. This was already in place for private tenancies, and we have an issue around housing, and I've had people come to see me who are in overcrowded situations where they may have 3 people in a 1-bedroomed house or flat. Now, hang on, let me just get to the point, please. Now, we have a situation where there may be people under-occupying social housing, and effectively, in terms of the housing benefit that we're receiving, the public purse was funding an empty room. Now, there are exceptions. This is why, when the spare room subsidy came in, there was a huge increase in the amount of money given to councils, what they call the discretionary housing payment. So that when we have issues where people need a spare room for various issues, the council can make an individual specific decision. But what the point of it is really, is to ensure that we get the best value out of our social housing stock for the people who live in it. That's what spare room.
Rubbish!
Thank you very much, Andrew. I'm going to ask Charles Lawley now. I noticed that your manifesto says seeking to achieve...
He's already answered.
It's true. You've had that through.
Ruth George, thanks.
Thank you. I'm afraid I wouldn't want to Lib Dem answering for me on disability benefit cuts, because I worried both Andrew and Lib Dem MPs about the bedroom tax, because my friends were affected, my colleagues that I work with in Usdaw were affected by the bedroom tax. I have a friend who has 2 sons who are teenagers. One has special needs. He barely sleeps at night. He needs a room of his own, but he has a brother who's very academic, looking to go into an apprenticeship. They were forced to share a room because they couldn't have a room each, even with one of them having special needs and the other's studies being affected. That bedroom tax has affected people's lives forever.
Yeah.
That is why Labour will, not only would we not have brought it in, because most disabled people live in social accommodation, they're not in private rented accommodation, and it's very important for them. We'll not only scrap the bedroom tax, we will scrap the, we will increase the ESA by £30 a week, where it's just been cut. We will implement the court decision on HIP so that people with mental health disabilities are given the same priority as people with physical.
Yay!
Because at the weekend I met a young woman in Glossop who suffers severe agoraphobia. She was not able to get out of her house in order to go and be interviewed, and they refused to send a doctor to her. They're refusing to pay her any benefits until she gets out of the house and goes for an assessment. This is a woman with agoraphobia who is living on nothing and having to go to a food bank, and her mum is supporting her. That is not right, and that is why Labour will also end the punitive sanctions regime that is the reason.
Yay!
That regime is the principal reason why there are so many people in High Peak reliant on food banks. That should never be the case, and we will stop it.
Yay!